Hello, sports fans, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Inside Titan Sports. My name is Eric Kohler, and thanks for joining us. This week is an important week for a men's and women's soccer program as we have postseason implications are on the line. We'll catch up and get an update with our very own Michael Parsons later in the show. But first, it's that time of the year to tip it off. Basketball season is in the air. Please welcome back the head coach of your women's team, Jim Grimes. Hey, Coach.
Hey, how's it going?
Very excited, man. It's finally here. All the preseason and previews, all that stuff's behind us. You have your first game coming up this week. Talk about your excitement of the season opening up.
Well, it's been we started working in the summer, so it's been a long few months. The team's we've been working really, really hard, but obviously it's great when you can finally get to playing against someone else other than your own team. So everybody on the team is very, very excited for the season to open.
So opening night for the women's team is this Wednesday. I believe that's November the 2nd, 6 o'clock. Who do you got coming into town?
We're going to be hosting Weber International University for our home opener. And they always come in. They're a very solid team, good coaching staff, so we're looking forward to the start of it.
Now, every season provides new opportunities, new challenges. Talk about this year, about this team that comes in. It's kind of like a really heavy and dominated on freshman-wise. How about this team?
That's definitely our biggest challenge. We had some success the last couple years with back-to-back conference championships, and now we're coming in sort of as the underdog, and we have 10 new players on our team. 9 of those are freshmen. So everything is new to them. Everything we're putting in, all our system and our philosophy of offense and defense, everything we're teaching is brand new. So obviously that's taken a little more time than it has the past couple years with so many returnees. But for us, we feel like it's been really, really good. I think we're ahead of schedule, and I couldn't be more pleased with the development of our freshmen.
Now the biggest thing, how do you coach it up when you have such a young team to come in? I mean, what's your concept? What's your goal there?
Well, for me, it's been a lot of fun, actually. I really enjoy the teaching aspect of the game. So it's just like going into a classroom every day. You're teaching your philosophy, and it's fresh and it's new. And obviously we've had a great experience with our returnees, but sometimes, they get tired of hearing. They've heard it over and over and over. So, we've got so many new kids, and they've bought in so well, and they're listening every day, they're learning every day, asking a lot of questions. And so that part has been really rewarding.
Now, also with the message, you have a couple new assistant coaches. Shed light on these new personnel and how they're buying in the program.
We do. We actually have 3 new members of our staff. Gabrielle Duran, who's from the Orlando area, former standout player at South Carolina State, has joined us. She has some AAU coaching experience, and she has really bonded well with the girls right away. She's worked a lot with our guards. Really has been beneficial for our player development program, which we hang our hat on that, and she's really taken that up to another notch. Stephanie Schaefer, who is a graduate of UCF, she's actually coming off the mission field. And I coached Stephanie when she was in high school back in 2005. She's a 2006 graduate of Covenant Christian School, where I used to be the athletic director. So I go way back with Stephanie. She has been unbelievable. She's a great mentor to the girls. She's coming in and really looking to learn a lot about the game. She was a great player in high school, but she doesn't have a lot of coaching experience. But she has really hit the ground running, really developing a great recruiting sense and a scouting sense, and just similar to the team, new to this and asking a lot of questions and wanting to learn. Then the third new member of staff is Matt Provenzel, who was a manager for the men's team when I coached with Coach Schulman.
Okay.
And then he went off to UCF, and he was a manager there for their women's team, and now he's wanting to start his coaching career. So he's come in right away, a lot of experience with our program and my philosophy. And, of course, coming from a Division I program and how they do things, he's really added his own special spin to how we want to do things here at Eastern Florida.
Well, you've had a lot of good success, like you said, back-to-back Southern Conference titles. Now, what are some of your goals of this year's team being a younger team?
Well, for us, our main goal every day is just to get better. I know I'm going to sound like a coach there. We don't talk a lot about winning and losing.
Okay.
We talk about playing tough, playing hard, playing smart, and playing together. Those are the Titan 4. Those are our principles that we preach every day. Our strong belief is that if we do those 4 things, the wins will take care of themselves. We've been able to do that the last 2 years. If we are able to come in and play with our principles and the team displays those 4 traits, I think we're going to be just fine. I think we'll compete for a conference championship, and hopefully we'll be in the state tournament and competing for that. And as, of course, the team, when we get together, we talk about goals. All of us are united that we eventually want to compete for a national championship here at Eastern Florida. We think we can do that.
Now, this year's team, what does it look like? Are you a smaller team, taller team? You got a bunch of shooters. We'll talk about Titan Madness in a second, but what does it look like this year as every year is different?
Well, most coaches will tell you you're never big enough.
Okay.
And so we feel like, we are probably pretty comparable to what we've been the last couple years. We do have Trudy Walker returning in the post, and I think she could be a dominant player this year. And with Taylor Smith transferring in from Kennesaw State, she really gives us another dimension in the post. But our main thing is we like to get up and down the court. It's a fun system to watch. I think it's a fun system to play in. We do take a lot of threes. And we've been blessed with some unbelievable shooters, some of the best shooters in the country the last couple of years. I'm excited about our new crop of shooters. I don't want to put them up in that class yet because we haven't played a game, but I'm excited about what we can do from the perimeter as well.
So the 4th annual Titan Men is something that gets you lit up, and so does Coach Jeremy Schulman. Mariah Batts, one of your shooters, she had a phenomenal outing. Talk about her shooting skills.
Yeah, she really has come in and done unbelievably well. She's a great kid. She's a Brevard County product from Titusville. She played at Astronaut High School, so coming out of a really strong program historically here in the Space Coast area. She's a great kid, one of my favorite kids to coach already. She entered the three-point contest, and honestly, coming into there was some really good competition from some other kids on our team, but she ended up winning the championship for the girls team and ended up going up, against the juggernaut in Ahmed. So there wasn't anything she was going to do about that. But she shot very well. You cannot be perfect. She was very, very good. I was very proud of the effort that she gave, and I know, her parents were in the stands and her family was in the stands, so it was a great night for her.
Well, that's great. Now, obviously, looking at the season, you have a couple nice home games, Titan Fieldhouse in November, and you have some classics in December. Talk a little bit about the schedule and some of those challenges up front to get you ready for that conference schedule.
Yeah, once we get past Weber, then it's really going to get tough, and there's really no nights off playing in Florida and the JUCO. We're the toughest region in the country. I firmly believe that. We're going to host St. Petersburg College next. They've been in the Southern Conference the last few years, and they've just recently left to go to the Mid-Florida Conference.
Okay.
But Denisha Davidson, the coach there, does an outstanding job. They're going to be a tough matchup coming up in the next couple of weeks. And, of course, College Central Florida, historically a very, very good team out of Ocala. They'll be coming to Melbourne to visit us the second week in November. And then, we get into the Thanksgiving area. We have Santa Fe. We're going to play Chipola, who's going to be obviously a national championship contender. So we're going to have to really be ready every time we get out there.
Well, that type of schedule, though, really does prep you up for some conference success. And I think if you want to be the best, you got to play the best.
Absolutely. I believe that firmly from the beginning. Even when I felt like we weren't ready to compete with some of those schools, we scheduled everybody from day one. And I think that's boded well for our program. I think that's been a big part of us building the program. We played the toughest non-conference schedule in the country last year, according to the Massey rankings. And once they come out, I think we have potential to do that as well this year. We're going to play Chipola twice. We're going to play Gulf Coast twice. Those are the last two national championship teams coming out of Florida. So we better be ready.
Well, Coach, while I have you on the time, last items I want to ask about. Do you have your set rotation, your starting lineup now after the jamboree you had about a week ago?
We do not have that set yet. Every day is sort of a work in progress to figure out who can do what. We're still learning that, and we're meshing together with so many new kids. We're not ready to commit to that yet, but I feel like we have 7 to 10 kids who will be ready to play.
That's pretty good. Set it up. Opening night is Wednesday the 2nd against Weber JV, 6 o'clock. Good luck to you, Coach.
Thank you.
That's Coach Grimes. We'll come back and talk men's hoop with Jeremy Schulman. Stick around. This is Inside Titan Sports.
Eastern Florida State College. This is where you discover new opportunities, where you pursue your dreams, and careers take flight. Apply now for new bachelor and associate degree programs in business, healthcare, computer technology, and other growing fields. Eastern Florida, where Titans rise. Apply today.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back to Inside Titan Sports. We talk women's hoops on the other side. Now it's time to talk men's hoop. Please welcome back the head coach of the always energetic Titans men's team, head coach Jeremy Schulman. Hey, Coach.
How's it going, Eric? I appreciate you having me on the show.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Hey, listen, congratulations. The rankings came out. I know it's the start of the season. Number 4, you finally get some love in the national polls.
I don't know what to say. I'm speechless from it. It's been a long climb for getting the respect that we thought the program deserved.
Right.
Obviously, we finished the poll pretty high, but we've never gotten the type of preseason accolades we have this year. So it's a little nerve-wracking also, because I know that we're sitting here and we're 0-0 on the year, haven't played a regular season game yet, and we know expectations are not just high within the program, but obviously we've got a bullseye on our back right now for the rest of the country. So very, very ecstatic with the preseason ranking, but we know we got a lot to work on.
Well, I mean, preseason poll, but I say, you know what? I looked at that and I saw it and I was like, it's about time. Coach, you put in the time, you finally get that exposure, but hey, it's a compliment to you and your staff and your team to finally get some love, and now you got to go out there and perform. But hey, number 4 in the country, let's do this.
Hey, I'll take it. It's got me motivated.
Very excited.
It's got me motivated again to have that type of recognition, coming into the season. As you said, it's a testament to the staff, it's my unbelievable assistant coaches, and to the guys in the program, and not just the guys this year, but the guys that have paved the way beforehand. So it's definitely a family, and it's the ones that are now at the Division I level and the ones that are playing overseas right now, in addition to the unbelievable group we've got right now with Team 7.
That's pretty good. Now, opening night is finally here. No more talk. Let's put it on the hard courts. Let's do this. So you got Tuesday night. Give us a game time. Who are we playing?
All right, playing Polk State.
Okay.
7 o'clock Tuesday night, November 1st, and that's our home opener. So Polk, they're a perennial 20-win team. They go to the state tournament almost every single year.
Okay.
Coach Verjanich is the head coach, just does an unbelievable job. He's been there for, I think, 14, 15 years. Before that, he was a head Division I coach at Robert Morris. His teams are always, tough, great defensively. They run a matchup zone, which is always tough to play against, especially the first game of the season. They rebound it well, and they've got one of the best guards in the country in Troy Simons, who's already signed with Middle Tennessee State, or committed to Middle Tennessee State, will be signing with Middle Tennessee State in a few weeks. Troy Simons is just, he's a 6'3" athletic guard out of Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Right.
Can score it at all 3 levels. Just a phenomenal player. He was invited to all the All-American camps over the summer, and he's a potential All-American in the preseason. So we're going to be tested right off the bat. So we're pumped up and we're fired up about it, but we've got a lot of work to do to get ready for it.
So now, right out of the gate, now obviously you have some things that are coming up in December as well. One that's very exciting, and then we host a tournament deep in December. Talk about some of those that are coming up on the schedule.
Okay. The one late December is, the one earlier in December, December 10th and 11th, is a Florida JUCO shootout, and that one's in Gainesville.
Okay.
And we're playing Florida Southwestern, who's a new program, but is just really, really talented. And then December 11th, that Sunday, we're playing against Northwest Florida, who's preseason number 1 in the country.
Number 1 in the country.
Already got that date circled on our calendars. Now, we got a lot of other really good dates before then, but a chance to play Coach DeMayo and in Northwest Florida, who won a national championship 2 years ago, and back-to-back region champions. We're definitely gunning for them. And then later in December, we're hosting a tournament. We're hosting a classic that's very near and dear to my heart. Call it the Josh Artis Crown Plaza Classic. And Josh Artis is a former player of mine who unfortunately passed away from cancer within this past year, and so wanted to do a classic on his behalf and in his name, and just in his remembrance. So that one's going to be a little near and dear to my heart on that one.
Well, and I think it's great because I wanted to shed some light on that, because as a team, you come together, you're like a family.
Yeah.
And when you lose one of your members, and I think it's great to memorialize that, have that classic at the end of December. Now, conference is very, very strong this year.
Yeah.
You guys are elevated everybody else.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the teams that present some challenges in conference play.
All of them. No. I think you said it right. I don't know if it's because of us or because of just a great competition, but the conference has been elevated over the past 3-4 years, and this year is no different. It just seems to keep going up and up and up. Palm Beach has been our big rival over the past number of years since I've been here, and that doesn't change this year. Coach McCann's got an unbelievably talented team, and they're athletic and they're deep, and they're going to be really, really good. Indian River was a surprise team in the conference last year. Didn't surprise me because I knew what they had the potential to be, but they were a surprise team in the conference. And Coach Wilson, in his second year, he probably runs the best X's and O's stuff in the entire region, not just in the conference. So they're going to be fantastic. Now they've got a little more size this year. They got a big front line to go along with all those guards. Broward with Coach Starkman. Coach Starkman's been in the league longer than anybody for the head coaches, and might have his best team that he's ever had, which says a lot because he's averaged 19 wins a year over his, I think, 14-year head coaching career. Miami-Dade's got a new coach, Kevin Ladeau, who was the assistant coach last year, and they've already shown in the preseason how talented and dangerous they are. And then ASA Miami, a second-year program with Coach Tobias, and they're much improved, and they've got a couple of Division I transfers, and they've got the state's leading returning shot blocker in 6'8" Alex Thomas. So there are no easy breaks in our conference.
No night offs.
No night off. No night off. But it's exciting, and it's I've got a lot of pride in the Southern Conference, and we've obviously had some success in the Southern Conference. But so I like seeing the other teams, be as outstanding as they are. I like a lot of pride in our conference.
Well, let's talk Titan Madness. Always a fun event.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I could not make this event due to a scheduled
You missed
commitment.
out.
I missed out. Talk about the dunk everybody's talking about on campus.
All right, so
Set it up.
Noah Horkler, who's a local product from Mel High. Noah's 6'8". He's got a 40.5-inch vertical jump.
Wow.
Long wingspan as well. I mean, just an unbelievable athlete. So he had 3 dunks in our dunk contest. The first round we had 5 dunkers. Everyone got 2 dunks, and then the finals, pairing 2 guys, everyone had 1 dunk to try to win it. So Noah actually had all 3 perfect scores.
Wow, 10s across the board.
Oh, 10s across the board. He brought the house down. He brought the house down. So my personal favorite that everyone's talking about is his dunk jumping over Ahmed Ali, who we'll talk about here in a second, I'm sure. So Noah, cleared Ahmed Ali, just an unbelievable dunk, and just showed his unbelievable overall athleticism.
That's pretty good. So obviously the judges were Dr. James Ritchie.
Yes.
You had Mr. Titan.
Yes.
And then you had Mark Moses.
Yeah.
All flipped them 10s, huh?
all gave the 10s. What a great trio of judges right there. We're very thankful that Dr. Ritchie came out to not just view it, but also take part in our Titan Madness.
So talk about Ali. Obviously, he got some exposure from the Drake. Talk about him as a player, what he can contribute to the squad this year.
Well, first off, with the Titan Madness, he lived up to the hype.
Yes, he did.
For being the guy who scored, Mr. 103, scored 103 points, and friends with the Drake.
The Drake, with the coach.
He advanced to the finals and shot the ball pretty well
to
advance to the finals. Won the men's competition, advanced to the finals against Mariah, and Mariah went first and had a great round for the women's team. And last year, the women's team won the 3-point shootout. So we already had a little chip on our shoulder. Had to come back. I know Coach Grimes has them prepped on that. He does a fantastic job with their shooting. Ahmed knew he needed a really good score in the final one, so he goes on the first rack and it's 5 for 5, hits the money ball. Goes on the second rack, it's 5 for 5, hits the money ball again. And now the tension in the entire building is like, oh my gosh, this guy's hit 10 in a row right now. So the crowd's going wild, all the players are going wild for both teams. Hits the first one, hits the second, hits the third, hits the fourth. Crowd is just berserk right now. He's 14 to 14. Takes the last one, nothing but net. 15 for 15 perfect score. First time I've ever seen it. First time anyone I've talked to has ever seen a perfect score on a 3-point challenge.
I'll tell you what, Coach. Perfect is your interview. And good luck to you. Opening night's coming up, Tuesday night?
Yeah, Tuesday night, November 1st, 7 p.m. against Polk. Let's pack the stands in our beautiful, all the brand new bleachers on there. Let's get Titan Fieldhouse packed.
I like your style, Coach. That's Jeremy Schulman. I'm Eric Kohler. Stay right there. Inside Titan Sports coming your way.
This is where we're building the future. This is where we meet the challenge, where leaders emerge and careers take flight. This is where you discover new opportunities. Choose to stand where excellence lives, where titans rise. Eastern Florida State College.
Welcome back to our final segment of Inside Titan Sports. Eric Kohler alongside the manager of Athletic Communications. Please welcome back Michael Parsons. Hey, Mike.
It's good to be here.
Tell you what, postseason implications are here. Men's and women's soccer. A lot of updating to do. Talk about the men's team right now.
Yeah, definitely. It's a busy time of year for the soccer teams. The men's soccer team, they play every other night right now as they try to make up all those games that they missed because of weather. And so they have a huge weekend now because an unfortunate loss against Daytona State on Monday. And so now they go to Broward on Friday. They host Broward on Sunday for the final game. That's the sophomore night. They have to win at least one of those, if not both of those, in order to continue this postseason run.
So now they got to do that. Now they get to the Final Four, then the Region 8, and then you got to win that to get to the play-in for the NJCAA tournament, correct?
Yeah, so what it is for the men's side is there's a district semifinal and a final that'll be next week. So whoever wins this battle in Florida that we're having between Daytona, Broward, and us, whoever wins that will host that next week. And then some teams from Mississippi and those teams come down, and we have a little mini tournament for the winner will go to the NJCAA National Championship, which will be held in Tyler, Texas this year again.
So that's a little bit different than the way the women's
little
bracket's
different,
set
yeah.
up. Okay, now the women's side. Again, back-to-back undefeated
Yeah.
in the conference. Coach Jeff Carr just keeps delivering.
They just keep rolling. It doesn't seem to matter what's going on off the field, but on the field they just keep putting wins together. Big win for them Monday night against Daytona State, so kept their perfect record going for the season. They're 6-0 in the region heading into their big tournament now, and that's where it's different. Is we actually have a region tournament in the women's side, and so that'll be Friday night and Sunday night here at Titan Soccer Complex. So we're hosting the 4 teams. So we'll open Friday at 5 o'clock against Polk State, and then Daytona will play Broward at 8 o'clock, and then the two will meet again. We may meet Daytona State one more time.
I believe that game also is televised on WEFS
Yes.
TV Sunday night at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, both those games, both the semis and the finals, are all going to be on WFS TV and streamed online as well. So people can watch it if they can't make it out to Titan Soccer Complex. But I'll tell you, the way that these teams have been battling all season, it's
Right.
going to be a great environment to come out and watch these games.
Now, as a women's team, obviously, Nathalie De La Silva and Darian Davis scored her 12th goal,
Yeah.
and De Silva's got 11. I mean, they really have a balanced attack where you never know what's coming at you.
It really is, and it's so much different that they complement each other so well. Darian has that speed, and she just gets away from those defenders, and she's wide open one-on-one with the goalie more times than not. Where Nathalie is, she had a goal on Monday that you couldn't have scripted better if you had drawn it.
Right.
It was perfect shot right to the far corner, and it just blew you away. And it was the first of her 2 goals on the night, and she really carried them in the second half to another victory over Daytona State.
Well, I'll tell you, the women's are just keep rolling. Now, talk about the men's. Obviously, they had it going at the right time, but that was a big loss on Monday. How does Coach 12 Trees turn it around to get it done against Broward College 2 times in one weekend?
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one now. But that's what he had to do against Daytona.
Okay.
He went to Daytona and got the win, 3-0, and they played really well on a night where it felt like it was the Titan Soccer Complex. The women's soccer team, the volleyball team came, and they were chanting, and it really was a home atmosphere at Daytona. And so everything was going forward, and then they slipped up Monday
Right.
and let Daytona get them back. And so, now they got the same kind of thing again this weekend with Broward, where they have to go to Broward and then turn right around and have a home at Broward. The good news with that is we had the first game. So we won the first game, so we just have to win one of the 2 to win the series.
So we can split this weekend.
Yep.
And then we're guaranteed to go, like you said, to the district.
As long as Daytona finishes first,
Okay.
and we're just worrying about Broward, we'll own the tiebreaker there.
Now, switching gears, go back to the women's side. Now, obviously, we're doing the district. We're hosting this year,
Yep.
but also hosting the national tournament on the 14th and 19th of November. That's great exposure for the program across the board.
Yeah, basically, Coach Jeff Carr doesn't have to go away from Titan Soccer Complex the rest of the year. He's going to host the Region 8 tournament, and then if we win that, then we would actually host the district final, which will be against the team in Mississippi next week. It'll be like the 4th or 5th of November. And then the following week we host the national championships. So he's home for the entire postseason. All he has to do is just keep winning.
Well, it's important to notate, too, that Coach Carr and the women's team are 7-0 at home.
Exactly.
So home cooking is very, very important.
It definitely is. And this team plays really well on that field. He's built the team to play on that kind of a field, and they really do excel on that field.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's such a beautiful field, but it's expansive.
Right.
So the fact is you got to have the speedsters like Davis to create in space, and I think some teams are not accustomed to that, and I think that really translates to positive things at home.
And it really does, and we see it on both sides because the men have Alexis as well. So both teams have that speedster that can really use the space that we have on that field and really get by the defense. And it's really worked out well this year for both sides. But, yeah, and, on the women's side, that's basically the defense is built to play in that kind of a defense
Right.
where, you're spread out a little bit, but they can cover that ground. And so it's really worked out well.
It's like run and gun soccer style.
It really is.
Now, for the men's and women's soccer team, obviously perennial powers each and every year. Any good looks for some big powers across for playing soccer continuously?
Yeah, Bunny Shaw is getting looked at from the women's side from just about every school. Darian Davis, the way she's playing right now, she's going to have a lot of choices as well. On the men's side, unfortunately the captain, Juan Parada, went down, so but he still has some options,
Right.
you know, and J.J. Donnelly's getting looked at by a lot of different schools. You know, J.J. had the goal Monday night. That was a nice goal and could have had a second. Just got a little unlucky there. But, yeah, you know, that's the other thing with these programs is we've built them now so that there are all kinds of options for these kids after they
Right.
get done.
Well, that's great because, I mean, obviously just having that name, Eastern Florida, is starting to resonate across the nation. Now, looking forward to, obviously, we're hosting a national tournament for the women's side. Any update on the status for bidding for the men's team for the following year that's been in Tyler, Texas the last couple of years?
Yeah, we're pushing for that for sure. We would love to host the men's side next year when we're not doing the women's next year. So we're still in talks, and we're hopeful that we can get that, and we can have Oliver at home for a week for the national championship for once. He usually has to go.
That's pretty good. So you can't do the men's and women's. It's got to be either or.
Right, because they like to do them at the same time, so we can either get one or the other. It's too bad. We'd love to host both because it would just be a great show of soccer in this area if we could host both.
Now, you've done a great job with the program. Obviously, the manager of athletic communications, your official title. Talk about the excitement of basketball season upon you, women's and men's. I know your wife's not going to be happy in terms of time-wise,
Yeah.
but you got a lot of things in the air right now.
Yeah, right now is a busy time for us for sure, but I'm excited for basketball. Both teams, as we heard on this show today, both teams are very good, and they're looking forward to big seasons. And you know, that's the one thing about my new job is every season is a championship season. You know,
Right.
every team has those aspirations, and you talk to every coach, and it's always the same. Is our goals are, you know, to be playing at the end of the season. You know, we want to play for a national championship, and luckily we have the teams that we can do that kind of thing.
With your role with the school, what's your secret to keep things going in terms of time management?
I think that Florida Today is what started it because you just get thrown a lot of different things when you're a sports editor. Every
Right.
day is a different day, and I kind of look at it the same way now. Is every day is kind of a different day, and take things as I get them, and just get them out of the way. But you know, the big secret is just enjoying what you do. You know, I love watching sports, and I love covering sports, and these are great sports and great coaches to cover.
That's awesome. You got the passion. Listen, appreciate your time. That's Michael Parsons. That's all the time we have for Inside Titan Sports. Remember to catch us anything and everything online at EFSCTitans.com. Until next week, from my producer, Rob Landers, I'm Eric Kohler saying so long. We'll see you next week.